The pounding on my cabin door didn't start slow, it started like someone wanted to break the damn thing down. For a second, I thought it was the wind. But the shouting told me otherwise. Open this door. Now. It was Deborah Cranton, the neighborhood's unofficial dictator, the woman everyone called HOA Karen behind her back. And she wasn't alone. I heard a second voice, deeper, rougher, angry. Her son. I stepped away from the stove, shutting the flame off. Chilly night just turned into war. The cabin was supposed to be my escape, a small, quiet rental spot in the woods outside Lake Ridge. And, unfortunately, it was the only place within walking distance of the HOA's precious little neighborhood. I looked through the peephole. Karen stood on my porch in an oversized fur coat, hair frizzing out like a storm cloud. Her son Kyle hovered behind her, a 17-year-old with a smug half-grin and a Confederate flag sticker on his hoodie. Perfect. Open this door, she barked. I know you're in there. I cracked the door just enough to show my face. Something wrong? You damn right something's wrong. Karen snapped. My son has been very distressed. Because you refused him, Kyle cut in, eyes full of cheap arrogance, my right to rent your cabin. I stared at him. You're right? It's an HOA community, Karen snapped. Members have priority access to amenities. He asked politely. You denied him. I folded my arms. He walked onto my property and said he wanted the cabin for a weekend for his boys. I said it's already booked. Because I'm living in it. Karen's nostrils flared. You denied my son access because you don't like him. I raised an eyebrow. No. I denied him access because it's mine. Kyle muttered something under his breath, the kind of slur that makes your blood boil. I opened the door wider. You want to repeat that? He smirked. Didn't think so. Karen stepped forward, violating every inch of personal space. You know what? Fine. If you want to play tough guy, I'll call the police. I almost laughed. For what? Renting my own cabin? For discrimination, she hissed. For harassment. For intimidating a minor. She pressed a shaking finger to her phone screen. And guess what? Officers always take the HOA's side. I leaned against the doorframe. Go ahead. Her face froze. She wasn't expecting confidence. Fine, she spat. You're done here. She stormed off the porch, dragging Kyle behind her. Their voices faded down the gravel path, swallowed by the dark trees. 3 minutes later, I saw the blue and red reflection bouncing off the pines. The police were actually coming. And I felt that familiar tension, the kind you get right before a courtroom explodes or a secret blows open. The kind that means tonight is about to change everything. I quietly slid open my desk drawer. Inside was a folder I never expected to use. Labeled HOA Cranton Evidence. I had spent the last 6 months documenting their harassment, noise complaints, trespassing, fake violations, hidden cameras, threats to renters, and a dozen shady actions involving community money. Tonight, maybe I'd finally get to use it. Outside, Karen's voice echoed dramatically down the road. Yes, officer. This is him. Arrest him. Arrest him now. I exhaled. Slow. Controlled. The calm before a storm I had waited for. I stepped outside the cabin into the cold night as the officers approached. Karen pointed at me with theatrical intensity. That's him. The one who threatened my baby. Kyle crossed his arms smugly. The officer turned to me. Sir, we got a call. I held up the folder. Well, then. You're gonna wanna see this. Karen's face twisted. This was no longer a complaint. This was the beginning of a war. Officer Ramirez opened the folder slowly, scanning the top page with a tightening jaw. His partner, Officer Green, felt the tension shift instantly. Karen didn't. She was too busy performing. Don't let him fool you with paperwork, she barked. He's been harassing my son for months. Ask Kyle. Ask him how traumatized he is. Kyle nodded like he'd practiced in the mirror. I kept my eyes on the officers. Everything in that folder is dated, photographed, and notarized. Harassment from HOA Cranton. Directed by her. Karen's face twitched. That is a lie. Ramirez raised a hand. Ma'am, let us do our job. She froze, shocked someone dared speak to her like a normal human. He flipped another page. This says you issued 43 citations to this man in 2 months? Karen smirked with pride. I enforce standards. Half of these citations are on days he wasn't even home, I said calmly. Green blinked. You got proof? I nodded toward the cabin. Security footage. Time stamped. Karen shot forward. You cannot use unauthorized cameras in an HOA community. I shrugged. It's my property. Ramirez looked between us. Let's all go inside. We need statements. Karen stormed past me like she owned the place. Kyle followed, muttering insults under his breath. The officers entered next. But I noticed something. Green's eyes scanned my walls, my desk, my shelves, too observant, too curious. Like he wasn't here for just this call. Interesting. I walked to my laptop and opened the security folder. A grid of time-stamped videos appeared. Karen leaned over the table. Honestly, this is all unnecessary. Officers, you really should be questioning him. But then she stopped. Because on screen was her 1:12 p.m., walking onto my porch, holding a clipboard, photographing every inch of my cabin like she was mapping it for demolition. Ramirez leaned closer. Ma'am, this is trespassing. Her voice cracked. I was investigating a violation. I clicked the next video. 2:27 p.m. Karen and Kyle placing a notice on my door. The next one. 3:02 p.m. Karen going through my mailbox. The officers stiffened. Ma'am, Green said carefully, that's a federal offense. Karen laughed, too loudly. Oh, come on. That's community mail. It's private property, I corrected. Kyle's voice cracked. Mom, let's just leave. But Karen wasn't done. She jabbed a finger toward the screen. Why were you recording us? Why do you have all these files? What are you planning? Are you trying to ruin us? No, I said calmly. You did that yourself. Ramirez stood up straight, shoulders firm. We're going to need to take a formal statement. This isn't just a neighbor dispute. Karen's voice sharpened. No. No. You don't understand. The HOA needs authority. If he undermines me. I raised an eyebrow. Undermines you? Or exposes you? Her expression faltered. Just for a second. But enough. Green folded his arms. Sir, do you have any other concerns we should be aware of? I hesitated, intentionally. Because this was the moment to widen the conspiracy. Yes, I said calmly. There are financial irregularities in the HOA. Karen's head snapped around. You shut your mouth. Kyle stepped forward aggressively. You're lying. I kept going. Misused funds. Fake repairs. Shell company invoices. Payments signed by her. The room went silent. Karen's chest was rising and falling like she was drowning. You have no proof, she snapped. I clicked a folder titled Financial Statements, HOA Cranton. Spreadsheets filled the screen, line items with impossible totals, checks logged to non-existent contractors, late fees pocketed into a personal account. Ramirez exhaled hard. Ma'am, this is serious. I am the HOA, she screamed. No, I said quietly. You're a criminal who hid behind a rulebook. Green straightened. Mrs. Cranton, I'm going to ask you to step outside while we sort. Karen grabbed her son's arm. We're leaving. Kyle, walk. The officers stepped forward. You're not free to leave, Ramirez said. Karen froze mid-step. Kyle swallowed hard. Mom, what do we do? Karen whispered something too soft for the officers to hear. But I caught it. They weren't supposed to see this. Green's eyes narrowed. Supposed to see what? Karen's face twisted into something ugly. Then she bolted. Ran straight out the door. Kyle followed, yelling. The officers sprinted after them, radios crackling as the forest swallowed their voices. I stood in my doorway, watching the shadows vibrate with chaos. This wasn't over. Not even close. Because as I shut the laptop, a memory hit me. Officer Green scanning my cabin. Not surprised by the evidence. Like he already knew something was wrong. The threat wasn't just Karen. The HOA wasn't acting alone. And for the first time since this started, I realized I might be up against something much bigger. The HOA emergency meeting was never supposed to be public. But tonight, somehow, half the neighborhood showed up. People crowded into the Lake Ridge Community Hall, murmuring, arguing, recording on their phones. The atmosphere buzzed, sharp and electric, like the charged air before a lightning strike. Karen stood at the front, hair wild, makeup streaked, gripping the podium with shaky fingers. Kyle hovered beside her, pale and sweating. She slammed the gavel. This meeting, she declared breathlessly, is to address a smear campaign against me and my family. The crowd erupted with whispers. I sat in the second row, the evidence folder on my lap like a silent weapon. Officer Ramirez leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Green stood beside him, far too stiff. Watching. Calculating. Karen raised her hands dramatically. Everything you've heard is a lie. Fabricated by a man with a vendetta. I stood up. Really? A vendetta? She froze, first time losing control of the room. I walked to the front, slow, controlled, letting the weight of 100 eyes shift toward me. You called the cops on me, I said, because I wouldn't let your son party in my cabin. But that wasn't the real issue. Was it? Kyle stepped forward. You're twisting everything. Am I? I turned to the crowd. Who here has ever received a bogus violation from Karen? A wave of hands shot up. Gasps. Murmurs. A couple of angry shouts. Karen's eyes widened. You people don't understand how community order works. You mean extortion? I pulled out the folder. Because tonight, everyone will. The room shifted, people leaned in, phones raised, every camera pointed forward like rifles. I opened the folder on the podium. Entry logs of Karen trespassing. Mail theft. Falsified HOA fines. Fake contractor payments. Checks deposited into personal accounts. Gasps exploded across the hall. Karen grabbed the mic. This is out of context. All of it. I tapped a highlighted line on a printed spreadsheet. Maintenance project, $14,500. Paid to a repair company that doesn't exist. And the signature? I turned the page. Hers. The crowd erupted. Someone yelled, "You've been stealing from us." Another shouted, "We want our money back." Karen slammed the mic so hard feedback shrieked. Shut up. All of you. You think you can run a neighborhood? You're nothing but. Ramirez stepped forward. Ma'am, that's enough. But Green didn't move. He kept watching me. Too focused. Too silent. Karen's voice cracked. You don't understand. You think I wanted to do all this? You think I had a choice? Kyle whispered something to her, panicked. Mom, stop. No, she shrieked, pushing him away. This is his fault. He threatened us with this information. He blackmailed us. The room went dead silent. I stared. I blackmailed you? Yes. Karen pointed at me, shaking. He told us if we didn't leave him alone, he would destroy everything. He wanted control. Power. The HOA. That's not true, I said. But Green stepped forward now. Not to protect her. To test me. Sir, he said calmly, do you have anything else you'd like to present to the board? Perhaps something you didn't want the police to see? There it was. The trap. He wasn't here for Karen, he was here for the files. The evidence wasn't just embarrassing, it implicated people beyond Karen. People Green might be connected to. I turned to him slowly. Why do you want my files so badly, officer? A ripple went through the crowd. Green stiffened. Because it's evidence in an active investigation. Or because it includes names you don't want exposed? The crowd gasped. Ramirez shot Green a shocked look. Green's jaw flexed. Watch yourself. Karen, sensing an ally, latched onto him. He's right. He's hiding something. Green, just arrest him already. Green's hand hovered over his cuffs. That's when I triggered the reveal. I opened my phone and projected a screen onto the community hall TV. A list of names filled the wall. HOA Cranton unauthorized payment recipients. Deborah Cranton. Kyle Cranton. William R. Green. The room exploded. Ramirez shoved past Green. What the hell is your name doing on this list? Green tried to control the damage. It's a misunderstanding. Like hell it is. Ramirez barked. You knew she was dirty. You've been covering for her. Green reached for his gun. And that was the fast, precise twist the whole room wasn't ready for. Ramirez tackled him instantly. Both crashed into a row of chairs. People screamed. Phones flew up recording. Green fought like a cornered animal, grabbing Ramirez's vest. You don't know what you're messing with, he yelled. Kyle tried to run. Karen tried to shield him. People blocked the door. Ramirez finally pinned Green, ripped the gun from his hand, and cuffed him hard. The room went silent again. All eyes turned to me. For the first time, Karen didn't scream. She didn't fight. She didn't even breathe. She just stared as Ramirez approached her. Ma'am, you're under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, mail tampering, and harassment. Her knees buckled. Kyle tried to defend her. It's not her fault. They made her do it. The board. Ramirez grabbed him next. But Karen didn't look at her son. She looked at me. You think this ends here, she whispered. You think we're the threat? Her voice was low, terrified. The people behind this? She shook her head. They're not done with you. And the room went cold. Because she wasn't lying. Rain hit the cabin roof like soft static. The kind of quiet rain that usually calms the world down. But tonight, it only sharpened the edges. The fallout from the HOA meeting had spread through Lake Ridge like wildfire. Karen, arrested. Kyle, charged as an accessory. Officer Green, suspended, under internal investigation, his name plastered across local news. And me? I finally had space to breathe. But peace didn't feel like peace. Not when Karen's last words still echoed in my head. You think we're the threat? The people behind this, they're not done with you. I tried to ignore it. Tried to focus on normal things, cleaning the cabin, sorting files, repairing the porch railing Karen had cracked in her rage. But the world had shifted. The community hall confrontation reached every corner of town. People approached me in grocery aisles. At gas stations. Even on morning walks. Some thanked me. Some apologized for staying silent. Some whispered questions, scared ones. Who else knew about the money? Was anyone else involved? Is the HOA even legal anymore? And then, rumors started. About funds missing from multiple neighborhoods in the county. About repairs never completed but billed for. About board members with suspicious bank deposits. Karen wasn't the beginning. She was a symptom. A week after the meeting, Officer Ramirez stopped by the cabin. He stood on the porch with a cup of gas station coffee, staring at the tree line like it held answers. "You holding up?" he asked. "Trying," I said. "How's Green?" Ramirez exhaled. "Lawyers. Union reps," he claims he didn't know where the money came from. Says the HOA paid him for community patrol hours. Did they? Not according to the county budget. I nodded slowly. So he was dirty. Maybe, Ramirez said. Or maybe he's just a pawn. Hard to tell yet. He sipped the coffee, thoughtful. Thing is, he continued. We started digging into the HOA's financial records. You know who approved half of these budgets? I waited. The County Community Oversight Office. And a few signatures keep repeating. My jaw tightened. You're saying this goes beyond Lake Ridge? I'm saying we're looking at something bigger, Ramirez replied. And the people who set this up? They're nervous. I frowned. Nervous how? Calls from higher-ups. Drop the investigation. Not a priority. Don't dig too deep. All the usual red flags. My stomach dropped. Karen wasn't lying. There really were people above her. Keep your doors locked, Ramirez said. Just in case. He left before I could respond. That night, I focused on getting the cabin back in order. The storm outside made everything feel distant, insulated. Like the world couldn't touch me here. I was wrong. Around midnight, I stepped out onto the porch to take the trash out. The rain had slowed to a drizzle, mist drifting through the tall pines. Lightning flashed faintly across the sky. That's when I saw it. A set of fresh tire tracks. Stopping just short of the tree line. Turning back the way they came. Someone had been parked here. Watching. My chest tightened, but I forced myself to stay calm. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe a hiker. A hunter. A lost driver. But as I walked back toward the porch, something on the rocking chair caught my eye. An envelope. No postage. No name. Just a single symbol drawn on it, a simple geometric triangle with 3 dots inside. I swallowed hard and opened it. Inside was a printed photo. A grainy shot of me, inside the community hall, standing at the podium during the public showdown. The angle was high. From the balcony. But nobody had been allowed on the balcony that night. Behind the photo, a single typed line. You exposed the small players. Stop now. A second line below it. Next time, we won't warn you. My hands went cold. I looked back toward the dark tree line. The pines swayed gently in the mist. Silent. Empty. But not comforting. Not anymore. I stepped back inside and locked the door twice. The cabin suddenly felt too quiet, too thin. Like the walls were listening. I grabbed my phone and texted Ramirez. Found something. Someone was here. Need to talk. Urgent. 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then nothing. No reply. The storm outside grew louder, pressing against the cabin. I sat at the table, the envelope in front of me, the symbol burned into my mind. Whoever left it wasn't Karen. Wasn't Kyle. Wasn't Green. This was someone higher. Someone organized. Someone watching. The community breathed easier now, believing the nightmare was over. But I knew better. Karen was right. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something far darker. I closed the envelope slowly, as thunder rolled across the forest. And in the reflection on the cabin window, I thought just for a second I saw a figure standing between the trees. Watching. Waiting. Then the next flash of lightning hit. And the figure was gone. Or hiding. Or still there.